Nick Wadhams is Bloomberg's foreign policy reporter, joins us from Washington to talk about all of this. Nick, as we've discussed here, Russia has decided not to expel U.S. diplomats. Putin says he wouldn't stoop to the level of kitchen diplomacy. What do you make of his statement?
Well, I think what we're seeing here is Vladimir Putin is sort of leaving the door open for Donald Trump. So throughout the campaign, Trump said, we are going to seek better relations with Russia. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a better relationship, if we could reverse this sort of last several years of antagonism? So Vladimir Putin with this is sort of saying, hey, I'm going to test you to see whether you're going to go with what the Obama administration said, basically laying out the evidence of Russian hacking, or if you're really willing to seek reconciliation with us. So it's sort of a fascinating twist in the narrative where Donald Trump is basically being asked to choose sides between the outgoing U.S. president and Russia's president.
It's pretty incredible. And if you look at Donald Trump's choices, the calculations he makes, he has to take into account what the intelligence community is saying. They all appear to be in agreement that Russia influenced the U.S. election to tip it in Donald Trump's favor. You have some Republican leaders in Congress who are saying they actually want to investigate this further with committees in the Senate. So what do you think President-elect Trump will do? I know it's the million-dollar question, but surely if he erased all of these moves and decided not to investigate, there would be a political cost to that.
Well, there would be. I mean, and I think that's why you saw the Obama administration come out so forcefully yesterday, both with the sanctions, but also with the FBI and Department of Homeland Security releasing this report, sort of spelling out a lot of the evidence that they've accumulated of Russian hacking. So essentially trying to box Donald Trump into a corner a little bit and say, okay, listen, make a choice. Here's the evidence. Here's the evidence you claimed you wanted to see before you made a determination. I mean, Trump did issue a very terse statement yesterday, basically saying, I will consult with the intelligence community next week. So his team is still very much weighing the evidence and weighing its own responses. And that's just something we're going to have to see next week.
And they likely are trying to figure out how far they can go. As you say, Donald Trump says he will meet with the intelligence community, see what they have to say. But in at every point that he's been asked about Russian interference, post and pre-election, he's thrown doubt on it. And he said it could be a guy, in New Jersey hacking while sitting on his bed. He says cybercrime is very difficult to identify the source of. How far do you think he will go?
Well, I mean, this is really going to be one of the biggest issues he's going to face in the first, 100 days of his presidency. Does he side with the U.S. intelligence community, the outgoing administration, and Congress, all of which believe that Russia played a clear role in trying to influence the U.S. election, or does he side with the leader of a foreign power? We have seen in the past U.S. presidents traditionally have sought to reset relations with Russia. George W. Bush sort of made the famous line that he had looked into Vladimir Putin's eyes and seen his soul and got sort of a measure of the man. That didn't work out. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama sought to do a reset with Vladimir Putin. That didn't work out. So, we'll see if Donald Trump is a bit more sort of persistent in seeking his reset, or if he too will be sort of overwhelmed by the pressure from both Republicans in Congress and outgoing administration staff.
And when you consider previous failures to reset the relationship, what impact do you think the covert cyber response could have in deterring Russia or any other nation from doing this type of thing in the future?
Well, there are a couple of things going on with that. The big one is one of the reasons why the Obama administration released a report yesterday detailing a lot of its evidence was, according to analysts that we've spoke to, partly to deter Russia, but also to deter other countries like China, for example, to sort of say, hey, here's what we know, here's what we have the ability to track. I mean, the covert operations that the U.S. could do sort of cover a whole range of options. They could, delete hard drives owned by some of these hackers. They could delete their Bitcoin accounts if they have digital currency, and then a whole host of other things. I mean, they could basically corrupt computers and make it very difficult difficult for them to operate. The big question is, how far do you want to go? How severe do you want that response to be? Because you could start a real escalation into something that could look like cyber war, and Donald Trump's going to have to decide if he wants to go down that path.
All right, Nick Wadhams joining us from Washington, the foreign policy reporter for Bloomberg. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.